Hello, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Nancy.
We're here today to talk to you about how to apply for the right job and prepare for an interview.
If you are looking for a suitable job for yourself, take a pen and paper and stay with us until the end of this video.
Many people are looking for a new and suitable job based on their education and their work history. In fact, statistics show that the priority of most people to find a job is as follows. Relationship between job and education. Job relationship with their work records. Salaries and benefits received. The possibility of learning and career development. Motivational and friendly working environment. The distance from the workplace to the residence and commuting facilities.
Based on the things mentioned, in order to be able to find a job that fulfills our most desires, we should prepare ourselves in the best way, as follows. First, let's know what we want from our job and what we expect. In fact, let's define our own priorities. Second, prepare the necessary documents for applying. Third, prepare the sources through which we can use to find a job in an orderly list. And finally, be ready to participate in job interviews.
Well, we've talked about the first thing, which is our expectations and priorities from a job, and we said that these are the majority of things. Of course, you can add or remove items from this list based on your wishes. But now let's go to the second item. The documents required for applying for a job, which are preparation of a complete job profile including complete CV, cover letter and presentation of previous works. And also preparing these documents. Degree certificates and certificates of training courses. Career or academic recommendations. Providing letters from companies, educational centers or people as references who can recommend your positive work or education records to the employer. This case is somewhat different from the recommendation, which we will explain it later.
Well, now let's go to how to prepare a standard and complete CV. There are different formats for preparing a CV, all of which follow almost the same standard. Pay attention to this example. You can prepare such a format for yourself with the help of software such as Word, PowerPoint, or even Photoshop. You can put an official photo of yourself in the upper left part of first page. Note that placing a photo is not a mandatory item for the CV, but in general, it will be better if you include an official photo of yourself with a friendly view in the CV. Avoid posting informal photos. In the lower part of the photo, write your name and details, and then put your contact information. Dedicate the next part to listing the skills you know. Dedicate the next section for software or special equipment that you know how to work with, and put the last section for the languages that you are able to speak, or have a degree in, referring to your skill level.
But about the body of the CV, pay attention to this sample. The first part is related to overview. In fact, you briefly describe your professional or academic activities here in a few lines. In the next part, a complete list of your work records or your work list should be placed. Sort your job records in order from your last or current job to your first job record. In each case, mention your organizational position and write the most important job duties and tasks you have done. Keep in mind that this section actually shows the general background of your work, education or practical abilities and will be of great interest to the employer.
After completing the work list, you should mention your education. The university where you studied, the field you studied and graduated from, your grade and the duration of each grade. After that, write a list of your accomplishments that you have practically and realistically achieved during your studies or work.
And now it's time for the certificates you received. Mention the titles of the training courses you have completed or if you have participated in a project or scientific activity, and received a certificate for that, and of course, their pictures should be attached to your CV.
The last part is related to expressing some personal information, such as your interests and hobbies, or general arts and abilities that you pursue outside of work. It is like sports and artistic activities. Pay attention to the fact that a good CV should be concise and useful in addition to being complete and clear. Avoid giving extra details. Usually, employers are not interested in reviewing resumes that are full of pages and very detailed. Also, to prepare a CV, you can use the sites that adjust this format based on your input information, or get help from artificial intelligence facilities. But checking and finalizing it should be done by yourself.
So far, we have completed the CV. Let's go to the additional documents that should be attached to your CV. Examples of the work you have done in the form of a description of the work or a photo or even a short video with brief explanations. Education certificates that you must receive from the university or institution you graduated from. Knowing a foreign language and having a valid certificate is mandatory for foreign workers, such as IELTS or TOEFL for English. The certificates, which we talked already about. Recommendations that are usually given by companies that you have worked for before and are satisfied with your work by mentioning your job title, the duration of your presence and expressing satisfaction with your work. References, which are usually people who have good experience and credit in your job, or there may be an acquaintance between them and the company or employer who wants to hire you, and these people can recommend you to that company or employer. If you are a member of centers or specialized associations related to your job, be sure to attach your membership documents. In general, in addition to having good educational qualifications as well as a strong CV, having educational certificates, approvals, and recommendations, membership certificates in specialized associations, and also valid references, will greatly increase your chances of finding a suitable job.
You should prepare a cover letter as well. A cover letter is actually a letter that you write to the hiring manager of that company or employer, and in that job title, you mention a brief description of your work history, abilities, and what you can offer in that job position, and in this way you request for that job position. Pay attention to 2 points. First, you may have to change the text of the cover letter for each job title. You should do this according to the job requirement that you want to apply for. Your focus in mentioning your work history and abilities should be appropriate for the desired job. For example, if they need a design engineer in that job, you should mention more design and engineering records in the cover letter. Second, the cover letter should only be 1 A4 page and no more. A long cover letter will be a negative point for you. Well, now that you have learned how to prepare the attached documents, let's go to how to apply for a job. First, direct contact or check the websites of companies and institutions that you are sure are active in your field of work. You can even ask them if they need your expertise and work. Second, through reliable websites such as Indeed, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, CareerBuilder, Xing, Monster, Glassdoor, GetWork, FlexJobs, Wellfound, and other sites that you can find by searching on Google. Make sure that these sites are valid. Third, contact your friends and acquaintances who are your coworkers and may know a good job position for you. Fourth, refer to employment centers in person or through the internet. Note that this part of the work is time-consuming and requires a lot of patience, and you may have to apply for many job titles and wait for a few months, but be sure that it will be fruitful.
If you do all the mentioned steps well and with complete patience, you will definitely receive an offer to participate in a job interview from some companies. Let's see what points you should consider in the interview to have the best chance. Today, job interviews are conducted online as well as face-to-face. One of the most important points for the interview is to arrive on time for the meeting, and also to wear the appropriate formal clothes for the face-to-face interview. But in both online and face-to-face interviews, be sure to consider these points.
Before participating in the interview, try to get complete information from the company that invited you. From their work or production process, their activities and the number of personnel, and things like that. Introduce yourself and your job title completely. Listen carefully to the questions and try to answer clearly and with useful explanations. If you really don't know the answer to a question, say very calmly and easily that you have no information about it. But express that you are eager to know. Express your work and education records with confidence. In your career records, rely on your skills in solving problems and successfully completing tasks. If you have any questions or doubts about that company, be sure to ask at the end of the interview. Show yourself eager to learn on the job. Know that one of the most important parameters for your employer is discipline, work ethics, and participation in teamwork. So be sure to strengthen these things in yourself. Be realistic about salary and benefits. Consider the amount of your requested salary based on your work history and abilities, and consult and negotiate with them according to the conditions and suggestions of the employer. Show that the work environment is like a second home for you.
Well, I think we reviewed many points together in this video. I suggest that you watch this video several times and note down the important points.
Write us your questions and comments. We will be happy to answer you. We hope you are successful in finding the right job. If you like this video, like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to see our videos.
Thanks for being with us.